Hello, good evening. It's 5 p.m. Welcome to 505. Coming up this evening, Office of the Special Prosecutors pushing back against claims that a United States Immigration Court decision vindicates former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta over criminal charges filed against him in Ghana. Well, the OSP says the criminal case remains firmly within Ghana's jurisdiction and the extradition process are ongoing. But lawyer for Ken Ofori-Atta, Frank Davis, says his client has not been formally notified of any criminal charges found against him in Ghana.
In accordance with law. Okay? I have said from the outset and I reiterate that after today, Kenneth Ofori-Atta has not been notified of any criminal charges pending against him anywhere, whether in Ghana or in the Fiji Island or the island of Mal or Solomon Island.
Tonight we examine what latest developments could mean for Ken Ofori-Atta's legal battle and the criminal charges against him in Ghana. Also coming up tonight, Election Watch Ghana urges President Mahama to use EC appointment to restore public confidence in the commission. We'll hear from the Minister for Government Communication, who says Council of States have already been given a nominee to choose.
Processes are underway. Indeed, the Council of State has already been given a nominee which they are considering, and once that process is completed, an announcement will be made in terms of the replacement.
And in education, investigations are underway into alleged sexual misconduct involving a teacher and a student at Bole Senior High School in the Savannah region. Later this evening, Minority rejects the government's $85 million Fari Hospital debt claim, blames the delay in completing the projects on the NDC government.
Recent claims by the Deputy Minister for Defense, the Honorable Ernest Kwame Jnr, regarding the Afari Military Hospital project are not only factually inaccurate, but represent a blatant, calculated attempt to siphon $85 million US. That is in.
And former Central MP also expresses disappointment over the delay in the project.
So I heard somebody talking 15 months. As a very hospital been there for 15 months. We were there for 8 years. You didn't do it. Don't blink your eye. I was the chairman.
Well, fuel prices set to drop following US-Iran deal to reopen Straits of Hamas. And in business tonight,
Ghana's tax to GDP ratio increases to 14% in 2025. We will tell you more at 5:50.
Of course, we have these and more stories, plus some interesting analysis to do. Stay with us. We're coming to you live from our studios here. Digital address G0423598 North Laboni. Third Daddy Walk on Class 91.3 FM in Accra. Vios 11 Ho FM 92.5. Hills 91.7 at Daklu, both in the Volta region. Max Empire 96.9 at Buzzwine in the Upper East region. Dagbon FM 102.5 in Tamale Radio Park 96 in Spain. We're live on Facebook. Connect with us or join us with a thoughts, comments, and contributions with the hashtag 505. Alternatively through our WhatsApp number 0500,000 202. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. It's time. It's 505. Welcome. Well, 505 is always brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go, Electroland Ghana Limited, and Review Scratch for Way. Now to the very fresh story. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has dismissed suggestions that reported U.S. Immigration Court decision granting former Finance Minister Ken Nanaya Kuntunkununku Ofori-Atta permanent residency amounts to vindication of criminal charges found against him in Ghana. Lawyers for the former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta are claiming that a U.S. Immigration Court has approved his application for adjustments of status, granting him approval of a green card through I-485 process, where the former finance minister is currently facing multiple charges arising from investigations conducted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor into transactions undertaken while he was in office. The Anti-Corruption Agency has previously declared him wanted and initiated steps aimed at securing his return to Ghana after alleging that he failed to cooperate with the investigative process. More in the following news desk report.
Ken Ofori-Atta's Green Card 1485 petition has been granted by U.S. Immigration Court. The court heard evidence relating to actions taken by Ghana's Office of the Special Prosecutor, including the OSP's earlier decision to declare Mr. Ofori-Atta a fugitive from justice at a time when he was reportedly undergoing medical treatment in the United States, and while his lawyers remained in communications with investigators in Ghana. The court finds the criminal charges in Ghana not credible. However, the court's ruling was made within the context of a United States immigration proceedings. The court's decision was focused on whether Mr. Oforiatta met the legal requirements for adjustment of status.
So that's a news desk report. But in a counter statement issued today, June 16, 2026, the OSP said it had taken note of media reports and claims attributed to a Ghanaian law firm indicating that Mr. Oforiatta had obtained a U.S. green card after an immigration court allegedly questioned the credibility of the charges filed by the anti-corruption body. My colleague Veronica Amado joins me in the studio with details of the statement from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Vero, tell us what exactly the OSP is talking about.
Okay, so the OSP has released a critical clarifying statement addressing widespread media coverage and claims originating from a local firm regarding the legal and residency status of Kenneth Oforiatta story in the United States. And so the state anti-graft agency is setting the record straight, drawing a firm line between U.S. immigration decisions and also active criminal prosecution. So following the latest development, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has taken note of media reports and a publication attributed to a law firm in Ghana that Mr. Kenneth Oforiatta has been granted permanent residency in the United States, resulting from an immigration court finding that it did not find the criminal charges filed by the OSP in Ghana against Mr. Oforiatta credibility. And so the OSP states that it is not involved in immigration hearings in the United States involving Mr. Oforiatta, but its involvement is in respect of extradition proceedings against Mr. Oforiatta through the Attorney General as the central authority. And the OSP states that the extradition packet is not before the immigration court, and the credibility or otherwise of the criminal charges against Mr. Oforiatta would be determined by the courts in Ghana, who have jurisdiction to determine his guilt or innocence. Further, Mr. Oforiatta remains a citizen of Ghana and he's still amenable to extradited to Ghana if so decided by the extradition courts in the United States. And so that definitive statement from the OSP signals that despite any private immigration milestone achieved by Mr. Oforiatta abroad, the state's pursuit of accountability remains firmly active. And so the special prosecutor has made it clear that U.S. green cards do not offer legal immunity from Ghanaian justice, and the push for a formal extradition hearing before a U.S. federal court will continue through the Office of the Attorney General.
Very well. Thank you so much for coming through with details of what the statement from the Office of the Special Prosecutor is. But lawyer for former Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta, Frank Davis, says his client has not been formally notified of any criminal charges filed against him in Ghana, amid ongoing public and legal debates over his dealings with investigative authorities.
All the noise for Kenneth. He has as yet. He started with declaring a fugitive of justice, red notice alert. They have all suffered, shameful dismissal from those who are supposed to determine whatever there is to be determined in accordance with law. Okay? I have said from the outset, and I reiterate, that after today, Kenneth Oforiatta has not been notified of any criminal charges pending against him anywhere, whether in Ghana or in the Fiji Island or the island of Mal, also all the noise about Kenneth. He has actually stopped them pursuing the extradition proceedings. And we haven't stopped them. We don't even have the capacity to stop them. So if the processes are ongoing, you should go on and let us know what has happened. It's as simple as that. Always trying to throw things in the public domain which do not answer to the merits of anything. I have said Kenneth Oforiatta to date has not been notified of any charge. That should be of concern to you. Kenneth or Kelly, whatever. It should be of concern to you. Yes, these are questions you should be asking the Office of Special Prosecutor. Right. We haven't got anything.
We apologize for the quality of the sound. Let me speak with lawyer Alexander Aban, who is a private legal practitioner. Counsel, I'm grateful for your time on 505. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, can a U.S. immigration court's assessment of criminal charges in another country carry any weight, or it is simply irrelevant to Ghana's case?
Thank you very much. The assessment of whether somebody has committed a crime in another jurisdiction or not only goes to the the consideration of whether they should grant the person permanent stay, as in the case of Mr. Oforiatta, or not. It does not necessarily mean that somebody has not committed a crime in that jurisdiction, because if the jurisdiction, like I'm saying in Ghana, if there is a crime written in law and the punishment for it is prescribed, then it's a crime. And if the person is said to have done that, it's a crime. But whether it is weighty or not is what would give the other country, like in this case, the US, to say that, oh, we have looked at what he is alleged to have done. It's a crime in the books of Ghana, all right, but we don't see it to be any serious thing. We are giving him permanent stay or whatever it is, because let me tell you, if America does their own investigations and realize that indeed somebody has committed a crime, they would not accept the person, because they don't want any criminals in their country. And recent events caused by Mr. Donald Trump for the repatriation of people should tell you what I mean, as an attestation of what I'm saying. And you know, they always say that no, they do not want any criminals in there. And they always accuse these people who are being repatriated as criminals. And so that should tell you that it is their own assessment of whether indeed what he is alleged to have done would constitute a serious crime, or, as in this case, the only thing that may probably it is just some political witch hunt. So that assessment that they would do before they decide that, no, this man, we don't see him to have committed any serious crime, so let us admit him, would not necessarily obviate the thinking of Ghanaians or the statement of a crime in writing in Ghana and the punishment which has been assigned for the commission of that crime. Because that's what we call a crime. That's nothing is a crime, that's what is in the Constitution. Unless that act has been defined as a crime and the punishment for it has been prescribed in writing. So it does not necessarily mean that when they have made their assessment, that act ceases to be a crime in Ghana.
Many on social media, and of course, many large number of Ghanaians are doubting the finality of this discussion. That's whether or not Ken Oforiatta would be brought back to the country. But does the fact that Mr. Oforiatta has now obtained or yet to obtain a U.S. permanent residency complicate or slow down any extradition requests Ghana may have filed?
Thank you very much. The fact that he has been given a green card or permanent residence in the United States does not mean that he has not committed a certain act or he has not done a certain act. And if that act he has done is a crime in Ghana, it does not mean that he has not committed a crime. Okay? What it adds is the complexity, okay, and another layer of difficulty in getting him to be extradited to Ghana. Okay? Because when it comes to crime, apart from what we may call international crimes like piracy and all that, where each country may have jurisdiction over, usually when it comes to crimes, generally, it is territory specific, if I may put it that way. So if you commit a crime in Ghana and you are not even a Ghanaian, so long as you have committed a crime in Ghana, you are amenable to the judicial process of Ghana. So it is what we call the lex in situ. Where you have done it, the law is the law prevailing in that place is what operates. So, for instance, you go to Singapore and go and chew gum, for instance, there, which is not a crime in Ghana, but a crime there. The fact that you have done it there, they will deal with you with their laws, even though you are not a Singaporean. So I'm using that as an example.
Okay.
And so if Mr. Foriata was even a full-blooded American, and he's alleged to have committed a certain crime in Ghana, the court in Ghana would have jurisdiction over him. The issue of whether he should be extradited or not is about diplomatic relationship between the two countries. Right? And so if you send your request and they look at it and see that, look, what you say he has done as a crime, we don't see it to be any serious crime, and that you are only witch hunting him politically, they can decide not to allow him. Now that, especially now that he has what we call the green card or permanent stay in America. So it adds to the complexity, and it adds to the many hurdles that the Ghanaian authorities will have to cross to be able to get him to be extradited to Ghana. But it does not, take away the fact that given the facts of what he is alleged to have done and weighing it against what has been written down as a crime, what he has done is a crime.
The OSP says that extradition processes are ongoing realistically. How long does that take between Ghana and US, and what are the legal hurdles? Of course, you've talked about some complexities there.
Yes, so he is right in saying that the extradition processes are ongoing. As to whether he will succeed is another matter. And that will be determined by the U.S. courts looking at what he is alleged to have done and weighing it to see whether, if those things had been done in the United States, it will be seen as a crime or not. And what the U.S. authorities or the judicial system think about it. If they say that, look, from all the indications, he's only being haunted because he is of a certain political persuasion, we will not allow him to come. Then they will come with that decision. And probably the extradition process may halt.
If extradition fail, what other options do we have as a country? Many have talked about trying us in absentia.
But if you try him in absentia and he doesn't come, it means then that you will not be able to get him to serve his sentence, especially now that he has permanent stay. It means then that he's not coming at all. And most probably, I don't know whether the gymnastics going on is what would also play out. Suppose there's a change in government and decide that, okay, he's coming. Then you will see people who will go to the Court of Appeal and do all sort of things and see what outcome there is. But if you try in absentia, probably it will just be on the record that he's been convicted, but he may not be able to. He may not serve any sentence anyway. And otherwise, you only have to wait till the time that he steps foot on the shores of Ghana,